72 hours, that's all it took. Path of Exile's new league launched on Friday. Players said the rewards didn't feel right, and by Monday morning, Grinding Gear Games had published a detailed list of exactly what they're changing. Not a vague "we're looking into it." Actual numbers, up to 40% more loot in Charts and Voyages, an entire progression gate deleted, a Mercenary rework, and 3 hotfixes already shipped before the post even went up. This is what it looks like when a studio is genuinely listening, and I'm going to walk you through every single change. So here's the plan, everything coming to Charts and Voyages, what's happening to Abyss, the Luminary and Mercenary buffs, and at the end, the 4 things worth doing right now to get ahead of the patch. Let's get into it. Start with the scope, because the scope tells you how closely they've been reading. On the league mechanic, GGG say they're deploying balance changes to make Charts and Voyages, quote, more enticing and rewarding. On Abyss, they said plainly that encounters didn't land in terms of reward, and on the Luminary, they wrote that permanent mercenaries aren't contributing enough power compared to the investment required. That's the league mechanic, the reworked core mechanic, and the new ascendancy. They didn't defend any of it. They didn't wait for the noise to settle. They named all 3 themselves in public 3 days in. That's rare, and it deserves saying out loud. Now, my favorite change in the whole post, and it's one nobody really asked for directly, which tells you somebody at GGG has been watching how people actually play. Charts run on a timer. You place your lanterns, they start collapsing, and then you have to get out, so every second you spend walking matters. The lantern indicators are there to point you at what's worth grabbing. The catch was what they've been pointing at. Soothing coral, crab nests. GGG is taking both off the indicators completely, and making crab nests far less common on top of that. That isn't a loot buff, that's a time buff. Same chart, same timer. But now every marker on your screen is worth walking to. That's a thoughtful fix. Then the numbers, and I love that we got real numbers. 20 to 40% more scattered lootable objects in Charts and Voyages depending on which charts you're running. Currency chests, scarab chests, stacked deck chests, and map chests all become much more common. And GGG went out of their way to clarify that's a genuine increase, not just the room freed up by removing crab nests. Golden lanterns are picking up a second job. They'll now also increase the quantity of items dropped by monsters you kill. They didn't put a figure on that one, so I won't invent one. And there's a brand new chest coming called Sunken Opulence. That needs a full restart patch rather than a hotfix, so it'll follow shortly after the rest. And here's the one that changes the mass on every chart in your stash. Every chart modifier that grants quantity or rarity is going up by 20 to 40%. All of them. Which raises a fun question, should you bank some charts until the patch lands? Here's the honest read, GGG didn't specify whether a chart's quantity value is locked in when it drops or applied when you run it, but the extra chests and the extra scattered objects are generated when you enter the area, and those you will definitely get. So holding a few back is somewhere between harmless and genuinely smart. Just don't let anyone tell you it's a guarantee, because that part we don't know yet. There's also a fix for something you felt without having a name for it. Charts have shapes, and those shapes have to mesh on the board. Some charts are dead ends, some are straight lines, both leave the slots around them with nothing to connect to. GGG is making both types less common than other chart types, and their stated reason is exactly that, to make voyages easier to construct. Fewer wasted boards, more of the charts you find actually being placeable. Again, that's the kind of fix that only comes from watching people play. Next, 3 gates that are simply disappearing, and I call this section a straight gift. Diviner, Arcanus, and Operative Strongboxes currently need you to collect upgrade pieces for Vesper before they'll spawn at all. That requirement is being removed entirely. They'll appear by default above area level 67, so from roughly the end of the campaign onward. Ducat crafting is moving from 5 upgrades turned in down to 3, which opens Allflame crafting up far sooner. And ancient orbs and orbs of chance are being added to Allflame crafting. GGG described those as missing, which means they always meant for them to work. Then quality of life, and there's a lovely one hiding in here. You'll be able to open the voyage board during a voyage to see where you are and which modifiers are live, so you can plan your route properly. Lantern auto placement is getting fixed, so it stops putting lanterns into awkward terrain. And you'll be able to launch charts directly from the bathysphere. No walking back to Valerie every time, like only full voyages will still need her. Charts are the thing you run over and over, so that's a round trip saved on every single run. And GGG said outright that one came from player requests. Abyss is the short section, but I think it might be the most honest paragraph in the post. Their words, Abyss encounters didn't land in terms of reward, and in some cases combat and density. There'll be iteration over the next few days to improve Abysses significantly. No numbers yet, and personally I'd much rather they say that than promise figures they haven't finished tuning. So the practical takeaway is simple. If you were about to commit Atlas points or Scarabs to Abyss, hang on a few days, it's about to get better. Now the Luminary, and this is the part I want to be precise about, because there are 3 separate improvements here, and each one solves something different. Start with the damage penalty. Permanent Mercenaries deal less damage than temporary ones. That's the trade for keeping them forever. The problem was that it applied at full strength during the campaign, when you can't really specialize into a Merc yet anyway. So it now tapers. There's no penalty at all before level 45. It ramps in from there and reaches maximum at level 83. GGG didn't state how big that maximum is, so I won't guess at it, but that's a smart fix. It takes the pain out of leveling, which is exactly where players were feeling it. The endgame gets its own separate fix. GGG adjusted the damage scaling of attack damage dealing hired mercenaries, so they're more effective in the endgame. Worth noting the wording there, attack damage. Spell mercenaries aren't named in that line, so if you're choosing a Merc to invest currency into right now, favor one that attacks. Then 3 more improvements on top. Infamous mercenaries will spawn more commonly, which helps everybody, not just luminaries, because infamous mercs are the rewarding ones to duel. Mercenary skills will more often come with extra support gems and maps, and there's a new Atlas notable that makes your mercenary hit other mercenaries and rogue exiles harder, which neatly solves the catch-22, where your Merc is too weak to win you a better Merc. That's an elegant answer to a problem players only found after launch. 2 more, then the summary. GGG is reviewing what happens when your mercenary dies mid-map, because right now you can't re-enter to revive them. They said themselves that makes losing a map feel unnecessarily punishing. It's under review rather than confirmed, so don't build a plan around it yet. But the fact it's on the list at all is a good sign, and they've been completely open about the bugs they're chasing. Deadlock crashes, caster mastery opening league chests without granting the buff, guidance arrows pointing at chests you've already opened, chart storage not matching the map stash tab, and legions breaking out early. 3 hotfixes had already shipped before this post even went live. So what do you do with all of this? 4 things. Stop grinding Vesper upgrades for strong boxes because that gate is gone. Do push to 3 upgrades because that's ducat crafting now. Give Abyss a few days, and if you're investing in a mercenary, pick one that attacks. There's no date announced yet. GGG's commitment was, quote, as quickly as possible, and given they shipped 3 hotfixes in 3 days, I'm inclined to believe them. That's every planned change, straight from the post, and honestly, this is the version of Path of Exile development I like best. Launch, listen, and turn it around over a weekend. When it ships, I'll cover what actually landed. If this was useful, hit like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments, are you banking your charts or running them anyway? See you in the next one.